The Reno-Sparks housing market is sending mixed signals in October. Prices are shifting, inventory is building, and sellers are making more cuts than we've seen all year. So if you're selling a home, buying a home, the charts don't lie. And today we're breaking down the stats and trends that could change your next move in real estate. Stay tuned. This is the one you don't want to miss. Let's go.
Assist to sell way smarter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thanks for joining us for another Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update show, this time for October 2025. A couple items I want to cover before we dive into the content, and that is, this is for the Reno-Sparks area only and includes single-family residential properties, basically houses, townhomes, and condos. Does not include commercial, lots, land, all that other good stuff. Now, most of the charts you're looking at include data through the end of September 2025, because as I film this, it's early October. And the main stat we're going to be covering is right here in this yellow box right at top. Now, we do compare this year over year on most of these charts, so it'd be September of 2024 to give you an accurate apples to apples comparison. And of course, you'll see the change in the middle. Along the bottom of most of these charts are dates. In this case, goes back to January of 2015 or a decade. Most of the charts will, and on the left side will be a data set. If it's different, I'll certainly let you know. And last but certainly not least, we always appreciate the feedback. I've gotten quite a bit of really positive, great feedback. Appreciate that. If you do me a favor, like and subscribe this channel. It'll really help us grow this and get this information out. So let's go ahead and shift to the data and get started. The first chart we always look at is mortgage rates. Why? Because it has the biggest impact on the market and sales going forward. And right now we're sitting at 6.4%, which is up 2.8% compared to last year, where we're sitting at 6.2%. Something I want to point out real quickly is this sort of channel we have building here. Interest rates have been fluctuating between low 6s and low 7s, and I expect that to continue for the foreseeable future for probably the next 3 to 6 months. Now, this does affect median price, and right now we're looking at the median price in the Reno-Sparks area at $540,000, which is down slightly, where it was at $549,975 last year, so down 1.8%. Now, to be clear, this is houses, townhomes, and condos. Like I mentioned, this is all of Reno-Sparks. If I were to back out Sparks, this would be a little bit higher for Reno. If I backed out Reno, it'd be a little bit lower for Sparks, but this gives you a general idea of the entire area. Right now, the average mortgage payment is roughly $3,877, which is basically flat from this time last year. But it is down quite a bit from where we saw it the last few months, where it was well over $4,000, so certainly heading in the right direction there. That also leads us to the affordability index. The higher the number, the better, the more affordable the market is. This is, in terms of a percentage, what the median income earner can afford of the median priced home. So basically 56%. Still quite a bit low on the affordability index. We hope to see that rise soon. Now let's dive into the actual Reno-Sparks listings and homes for sale and homes sold. And we're going to start with new listings. Now, these are listings that came on the market for the month of September 2025. Some of these may still be on the market, some of them may already sold, but this just gives you an idea of how many people raised their hand and said, yep, I want to put my home on the market. 525, which is down 15.9% from this time last year. We're hitting at 624. Now, all of these charts I like to break down by price. Now, of course, we don't have dates on the bottom here like we did on the other charts. All of these charts are going to have price ranges at the bottom, and they usually are from 100 to 200, 2 to 3, 3 to 400,000, 400 to 500,000, and so on. And of course, we have the upper end price range at $1.5 million plus. On the left side is the number of sales. So as you can see, the majority of sales, or new listings, I should say, are taking place right here in the 4 to about 600, 650 range up in here. Now let's look at active. Active is total listings. What they could have come on the market in September, back in May, June, July. These are just the number of homes that are currently available. So if you're looking at buying a home, this is the number of homes you could go look at. If you're thinking of selling a home, this is your direct competition. 1,459, which is down slightly from last year. We were sitting at 1,477, so down 1.2%. Now let's look at this active inventory by price. This is where things start to get interesting, and you'll see why here in just a moment. As you can see here, with quite a few properties up here in the 650, 700 and up range, all the way up to $1.5 million plus. The majority of active inventory is sitting right here between 4 and about 650, 700,000. Now let's shift over to close. These are the homes that actually sold in the month of September 2025. 509, which is up 3.5%. from this time last year, where there was 492. The only thing I want to point out on here is we are still relatively low as far as historical sales numbers go. We would expect these numbers this time of year to be closer to the 650, 700 and above, 750, 800 even, and we are still significantly lower in the number of sales. Now let's look at closed by price. Remember I said the charts get interesting. This is what I wanted to point out. Look at the number of sales up here in the upper end price ranges. Not a lot, very few sales. $1.5 million plus, a little over 20 sales, close to around 30 sales, $1 million to $1.5 million, and then just under 60 sales for that 750 to $1 million range. If I compare that to actives, as you can see, $1.5 million plus, there's nearly 200 active, there's 125 plus in the $1 million to $1.5 million, and of course, there is over 200 homes, 750 to $1 million. Again, go closed, and you can see very few sales, lots of actives. When you see that gap get wider and wider, that usually means pressure on prices because it's super competitive. There's a lot more sellers and very few buyers buying those homes. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that. So after close, we like to take a look at month's supply of inventory. This is kind of the canary in the coal mine. Gives us an early indication of where the market might be heading. And this number basically means how many homes are on the market for a total monthly supply. So for example, let's say you had 1,500 homes on the market and you are selling 500 per month. That would be a 3-month supply. Right now we're sitting at 2.9 months supply, which is down 4.5% from last year. We're sitting right at 3 months. Right now, to see a stable market in RE, you want to see that 3 or 4 months. So this is looking at a more normalized market than we saw back here during COVID and all that, where we barely had a month or even less than a month's inventory. So again, moving in the right direction. But this is where it gets interesting once again. If we go back to price range, that inventory, that supply of $1.5 million plus homes is extremely high, 1 to 1.5 million and so on. And then of course we get to below 2 to 3 months right back in here in the 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and so on. A couple more charts before we wrap this up, and that is days to contract. So this means the number of days a home sits on the market before it gets an offer and it goes under contract or it goes into escrow and it gets ready to sell. 43, that's up significantly from this time last year. It was only 28 days. So we're up 53.6%. I'll mention more about this here in just a moment. And the last thing I want to bring up is unsold listings. These are the homes that were on the market in the month of September that were pulled off the market and never sold. They either expired or they were canceled or withdrawn or whatever. 170, which is up 68.3% compared to this time last year at 101. Let's sum up all of these charts and what this all means for both buyers and sellers. I'm going to start with sellers. If you're thinking of selling your home or maybe your home is on the market, a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, it's very price sensitive right now. There's a lot more competition than there was just a year, 2, 3 years ago. And as we've seen based on the charts, prices haven't moved all that much in the last couple of years. So if your expectation is, hey, my neighbor sold 6 months or a year down the road from me, I'm going to sell for more, that's not necessarily the case. So it's really important to understand you're doing the right thing by watching this video and getting the stats. Buying side, it's pretty much flipped. It's a good thing. We're starting to see inventory and choices out there. You know, one of the reasons prices went up is there wasn't a whole lot for sale. If buyers wanted to go out there and buy, didn't have a lot of options. You're getting more and more options. There's a lot of incentives going on with new construction, even home sellers that are offering incentives. If you have information about selling your home or buying a home, we'd sure appreciate the opportunity to work with you. We've been in the Reno-Sparks area since 1989, believe it or not. We've sold thousands of homes. And best of all, we'll sell your home for only $49.95, which is significantly less than you might expect to pay from one of those super high commission companies. For $49.95, we do absolutely everything. We show the house, advertise it, take care of all the paperwork. We have expert agents that outsell most agents. And on the buy side of things, we have great buyer programs that you have to check out. So thanks for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful October, and we'll see you next time right here on the Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update Show. Bye-bye.
Assist you sell way smarter.